Okay, that's a plot twist, right? So it looked like Drake filed officially his federal defamation suit against UMG over Not Like Us. And the reason why this is an update and I say it's a plot twist is because this comes after late last night and this morning where people were discussing Drake withdrawing his previous motion against discovery motion against Spotify and UMG. And then the tidbit there too was that UMG kind of didn't really reveal their position on Drake's withdrawal at the time. That was agreed on by the courts. I speculated it had something to do with the Texas case that was still pending, but it looks like maybe they had information on Drake actually following up. We'll get into the article. We'll talk about it. I'll give you a little opinion as far as me as a hip-hop head and what I kind of see here, like and don't like. And then we'll try to make sense of most of what's going on here. Okay. All right. So it says, Drake is not backing down his war against his label, TMZ. It says, in fact, he's up the ante by officially suing Universal Music Group for spreading the false and malicious narrative that he is a PDF file. Drake filed the defamation case Wednesday morning in a federal court in New York City, ripping UMG for releasing and promoting Kendrick Lamar's vicious diss track, Not Like Us. In the docs obtained by TMZ Hip Hop, Drake says UMG full well knew Kendrick lyrics and images in the music video referring to Drake as a PDF file were false and dangerous. I just want to opine here just a little bit. I know the courts is not a hip hop court. I really have a tough time with the portion of how we're going to start discussing allegations and beef records and what's true and what's not true and whether label will release a song. Same way Family Matters was released under UMG. Not Like Us can be released under UMG. Now, if you want to have a conversation about the contents of both songs, we can, but it's like my mother would tell me, everybody remembers the gunshot, nobody remembers the slap. If you make allegations that someone is a DV, right, in Family Matters, or I guess a domestic abuser in Family Matters, then the response is Not Like Us. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not quite sure. I don't want to defend billion-dollar operation here, but how do you kind of have a claim on the releasing part? Now, the promotion part, in my opinion, non-attorney is where I think you're probably a little stronger, and they cover that in the next excerpt, and I think Drake's legal team probably explained that a little better here. And that is in this portion where it says the record was a gold mine for UMG. He says they had an ulterior financial motive in promoting it. Drake's claim his label was doing everything it could to pump up Not Like Us because they knew it could devalue his music and brand and therefore give UMG leverage in future contract negotiations with Drake. Keep in mind, Drake's last UMG contract signed in 2022 was a blockbuster deal worth a reported $400 million. Now, again, this is where I think you probably have more of a claim. It says Drake says he's got bot receipts to show just how far the label went to turn Kendrick's songs into an anthem. According to the suit, UMG paid a third party to use bots to increase the song's stream by at least 30 million and engaged in a pay-for-play scheme with at least one radio promoter. He claims UMG attached the label chart topper to Not Like Us, despite knowing that the title was based on fraudulent data. Again, things get really tricky. There's a lot of fraudulent information in songs. How do we separate beef versus just entertainment records? You know what I mean? It's getting weird. And I'm gonna deliver like a final opinion on this, but let's get to his details. It's also clear Drake's very mindful of what's going down in New Orleans next month. In his suit, he claims UMG was in on getting Kendrick the Super Bowl halftime gig so the song could be performed on that massive stage, which he calls one of the most significant and viewed cultural events of the year. And this is what a lot of people have speculated. It's very interesting that the idea behind this whole lawsuit situation is to not get Not Like Us played at the Super Bowl. So that's interesting. And they point out here that, interestingly, Drake isn't going after Kendrick in the suit, which kind of new. In fact, he says the lawsuit is not for the artist who created Not Like Us. It's instead entirely about UMG, the music company that decided to publish, promote, exploit, and monetize a song which it knew contained false claims. And they cover here the music industry and fans of Kendrick and Drake thought Drake was retreating in his legal battle, which is off the news from last night and this morning, because on Tuesday he filed a motion to drop a legal action he filed against UMG and Spotify in New York State Court. Sources tell us, TMZ, that was mainly done to clear the way for this new federal case. Let me give you one strong HQ theory here. This is what's I think going to most likely happen no matter the outcome of this case, is that labels, billion-dollar companies, bro, they've got this shit figured out. They will start protecting themselves, and I don't know what this means for hip-hop. Could be a good thing, a bad thing, and probably stop monetizing diss records, like outright diss records. Not records that you take subs and stuff like that, because no one has the time to be casing through that. But when rappers start having beef, what I think most labels would do, depending on the outcome in this case, is probably just go, we're not monetizing that. If you want to put that out on YouTube, if you want to put that out on non-streaming, not under our platform, you go ahead and do that. I think that's what will happen, especially if this case doesn't go well for UMG. If it does, they probably won't give a damn, because this records are a gold mine. Now, as far as Drake is concerned, and Kendrick to a certain extent, we really have to have a conversation here, and he has to kind of convince me a little bit in the difference between his record, which was also released on the UMG, unless I'm mistaken, like his diss records, push-ups, Family Matters, versus the Kendrick stuff. And the only two things I can think of is, one, the content, I guess, may be different, or maybe he truly just believes his weren't filled with lies and stuff like that. So you're gonna have to kind of, and two, you have to clarify for me that your records were being pushed regularly and was in fairness to Kendrick or whatever, and meanwhile his records, specifically the one, and I guess that's what you go to court for. I'm just giving you guys my issue theory here. That his record was just artificially boosted, done on purpose, just to be a psyop mission to ruin your pockets, ruin your career, etc. And it wasn't just a beef that went left. And with that said, I think if I'm Kendrick, I'm also looking at this like, well, you took it here, I took it there, we're dissing. Where does a lawsuit come in? How do I, does Kendrick have to go to court and be a witness in this? He's going to call as a witness. Now, those are the type of things that I'm thinking about. But I think overall, my point still stands. Drake can do whatever he wants to do and go to court and have these conversations. I'm not going to champion a billion dollar record labels. I already know this game. I know what it is. I know that Drake is pretty rich too, so I'm not putting him out as some type of martyr. But at the same time, I do know that this is still hip-hop. People diss. People lie on you. People lie disses. And people recover. And some people don't recover. And we just keep it pushing, and that's the next thing. So I really want to see how this plays out, because you know me, I'm always interested to see if I'm missing something, if there's new information. I'm always willing to change my mind, but it definitely goes against the conventional way that I've seen hip-hop stuff go. And I'm very interested in seeing how this may change the landscape and what the end result will be. Okay? And one more thing that I should mention is I think that this is a huge sort of landmark moment on just how big the genre of hip-hop is right now, how the landscape has changed. I do think I want to just kind of put a sort of asterisk on my last thing that I said previously, in that, hey, listen, this is hip-hop, you always done this, you always done that, and that is more is at stake now. I totally understand that. There's more money now more than ever. Legacies are bigger than ever. So, yeah, dissing in hip-hop, going back to my earlier point, that's about to take a different step. This might have been the last big battle we'll ever get.